This demo is about hand lettering. The following are a few examples of my hand lettering style. I have a pretty rough, gritty style that I use when I marry it to my illustration, and that's one of the key things that I think about when I'm hand lettering a project. How am I going to integrate it into the illustration itself? For this demonstration, I'm going to use a piece that I created in a previous demo about the fear of the blank page. So in this case, I created a portrait of a cowboy, and this is the piece that I'm going to use to apply hand lettering to. So I scanned it into my computer. These are a few screenshots from that process. And then when I scanned it in, my scanner is not a large enough format, so what I have to do is stitch together the image. So this is the process that I use to stitch that image together and get it into one image from the 4 scans that I had to create. In this case, I'm layering them on top of each other, multiplying the layers to line up, and then what I'll go in and I will select and feather out some edges that might not match as well as I'd like. And through this process, I end up with my image in one larger piece. And here, as you can see, I am finishing that up together as I stitch it together and then refine it. Then I will go in and select any kind of parts and pieces that aren't working, or blemishes or marks from the page that I don't like. And then from there, I will use it to apply my hand lettering. At this point, I am now taking the image as a whole, and I'm going to adjust the levels in this image. So once I get it all pasted in together, I am adjusting the levels, and then from there, I'll have my piece ready to work with. And as you can see, I'm removing the last few blemishes and stray marks from the image, and now it's ready to go. I like to start with a little scrap piece of paper and work out a thumbnail of maybe where I'm going to position my type. This is where I take a piece of tracing paper and I lay it on top of my original drawing, and now I'm working out where the blocks of type might be positioned. And as I take this tracing paper and place it over the image, it's a way for me to kind of obviously lay the type out, but then I can move it around a little bit and kind of shift it around. And you know, you can do this digitally as well, but I like to start out doing this the old analog way, I guess. It just gives me a tactile feeling. As I move it around, I kind of figure out where I want to place it. In this case, I'm just starting to lay it out on a curve, a little bit of a wave, and just playing around with some verbiage. Yippee-ki-yay, the cowboy term, obviously made more famous in a movie back, I don't know when was that, back in the 80s with Die Hard. But so I'm just playing around with it, seeing what happens, and that's essentially what I'm doing. So at this point, I'm not liking where this is going, so I'm just going to stop and change direction. And this is something that can be difficult to do sometimes when you started a piece of artwork and you've kind of invested some time into it. But it's always beneficial to listen to your gut. And in this case, I'm just going to stop this lettering direction. It feels boring to me, and I'm going to start a new direction. So I've taken the cowboy image and I've imported it into Adobe Fresco. And I gave a little brief tutorial about Fresco a little while ago. And what I like about Fresco is I can just drop my image in there and I can go ahead and just start drawing on top of another layer like I would in any other program like Photoshop. But what I like about Fresco is it works on the iPad and I'm able to take that pencil and just draw and immediately make some decisions. So right now I'm working on some texture and having blocked in my type and just having fun with it. I felt like the other direction was expected, and it was kind of fun to just take a piece of type and a term, Disco Inferno, and something that doesn't really match up to that of an image of a cowboy, and just kind of play around and see what happens with that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm playing and I'm having fun, and we'll see where this goes. Driving home one night, I heard the song Disco Inferno on the radio, and I thought this would be a fun term to marry to an image that had absolutely nothing to do with it. Now I'm at the stage where my lettering is at a point where I start to push it, kind of push it back and forth, play around with some highlights, some drop shadows, some texture, additional textures and colors, things of that nature. In Adobe Fresco, I am using primarily two brushes, Kyle's Runny Inkers, Blockbot 5, and a crosshatch brush. I'm not really planning out where this type is headed. I'm just using that shape, the red shape in the background, and looking at it as a space that I could fill with type. This plays a lot into what I do. A lot of my work is very immediate, so I do think about things ahead of time, and then sometimes I don't. And in this case, I'm just kind of having fun with some of the lyrics from the song and just kind of placing that type around the image and filling that space. Thanks for watching the demo. I hope you were inspired and got some ideas for your own work. Thank you.